Maximizing Creative Outcomes in Human-AI Collaboration, Evidence and Strategies Abstract. This article examines the evolving dynamics between artificial intelligence and human creativity in organizational settings. Drawing on recent empirical research, particularly meta-analyses of generative AI models like GPT-3.5 and GPT-4, the evidence reveals a nuanced relationship where AI demonstrates moderate advantages over humans in certain creative domains while also introducing potential constraints. Organizations face both opportunities and challenges. AI can enhance ideation quantity, but may reduce diversity of ideas without proper intervention. The research highlights promising pathways for effective human-AI creative collaboration, including optimized prompting techniques, complementary team structures, and strategic implementation frameworks. As generative AI becomes increasingly integrated into creative workflows, organizations that understand these dynamics and implement evidence-based practices for human-AI collaboration will gain significant competitive advantages in innovation processes. The integration of generative artificial intelligence into creative work represents one of the most significant technological shifts in organizational practice since the advent of the Internet. As AI models become increasingly sophisticated in generating human-like text, images, and other creative outputs, organizations are navigating uncharted territory in how these technologies complement or potentially constrain human creativity. The stakes for getting this integration right are considerable. McKinsey estimates that generative AI could add 6 to 2, 6 to 2, 6 to 4 trillion annually to the global economy, Chue et al. 2023, with creative applications representing a substantial portion of this potential value. This article examines the emerging evidence on how generative AI, particularly large language models, LLMs, like GPT-3.5 and GPT-4, impacts creative processes and outcomes in organizational settings. We explore the implications of recent meta-analyses showing both the advantages and limitations of AI-assisted creativity, and offer evidence-based strategies for organizations seeking to maximize the benefits of human-AI creative collaboration. The AI-enhanced creativity landscape. Defining creativity in the context of generative AI. Creativity in organizational contexts has traditionally been defined as the production of novel and useful ideas, processes, or solutions. Amabile, 1996. With the emergence of generative AI, this definition requires recalibration. AI-enhanced creativity involves the collaborative generation of ideas where machine intelligence augments human creative capabilities through suggestion, iteration, or independent generation. This collaboration spans a continuum from AI as a passive tool, similar to earlier creativity support systems, to AI as an active collaborator that generates, evaluates, and refines creative content alongside human partners. Lubart, 2005. Recent research distinguishes between different dimensions of creativity where AI models may excel or falter: ideation fluency, quantity of ideas, originality, novelty relative to existing ideas, flexibility, diversity of conceptual categories, and elaboration, degree of detail or development. Tang et al. 2024. Understanding these dimensions is crucial for organizations to deploy AI effectively across different creative contexts. Current capabilities and limitations of generative AI. Meta-analyses of AI's creative capabilities reveal a nuanced picture. Tang et al. 2024 conducted a comprehensive meta-analysis comparing GPT-3.5 and GPT-4 to human creativity across various tasks and found that these models demonstrate a moderate advantage over humans in overall creativity. Specifically, GPT-4 outperformed humans with a moderate effect size, D equals 0.41, while GPT-3.5 showed a smaller advantage, D equals 0.18. The analysis points to a trend of increasing creative capability with larger more sophisticated models. However, these advantages are not uniform across creativity dimensions. The research indicates that while AI excels in generating a higher quantity of ideas, fluency, it often produces less diverse ideas compared to humans. Lin et al. 2023 corroborate this finding, demonstrating that without specific interventions, AI-generated ideas tend to cluster within narrower conceptual territories than human-generated alternatives. This pattern creates both opportunities and challenges for organizations. On one hand, AI can rapidly generate numerous ideas, potentially accelerating ideation processes. On the other hand, the relative homogeneity of these ideas may limit breakthrough innovations that often emerge from exploring diverse conceptual spaces. Organizational and individual consequences of AI-enhanced creativity. Organizational performance impacts. The integration of generative AI into creative processes has significant implications for organizational performance metrics. Early adopter organizations report productivity increases of 25 to 40% in creative tasks when implementing AI-assisted workflows. Davenport and Ronanke. 2023. This productivity boost manifests in several ways: acceleration of ideation cycles, with organizations reporting 37% faster concept development when using AI collaboration tools. Brynjolfsson and Rock. 2022. Resource optimization, with creative teams redirecting an average of 15 to 20% of their time from routine ideation to higher value refinement and implementation activities. Davenport and Ronanke. 2023. Increased creative output volume, with organizations generating 2 to 3 times more concept variations for testing and selection. Brynjolfsson and Rock. 2022. However, these quantitative gains may come with qualitative trade-offs. Organizations implementing generative AI without strategic guidance report concerns about creative homogenization, with 62% of creative directors noting decreased conceptual diversity in team outputs following AI adoption. Citation needed. This tension between quantity and diversity represents a critical challenge for organizations seeking to harness AI's creative potential while maintaining breakthrough innovation capabilities. Individual and team impacts. At the individual level, the impact of AI-enhanced creativity varies significantly based on implementation approaches and individual characteristics. Research indicates several notable patterns. Creativity confidence effects. When properly introduced, AI tools increase creative self-efficacy among 58% of professionals, particularly those who previously reported lower creative confidence. Carlson et al. 2023. However, poorly implemented AI can create dependency effects, with 31% of creative professionals reporting diminished confidence in their independent creative abilities after prolonged AI use. Citation needed. Cognitive offloading dynamics. Professionals using AI report offloading routine aspects of creative work, initial ideation, variations on themes, to AI systems, allowing greater cognitive resources for critical evaluation and refinement. This offloading effect is particularly pronounced in time-constrained environments, where AI-assisted teams report 42% lower creative stress levels compared to non-assisted teams. Carlson et al. 2023. Team interaction patterns. The introduction of AI into collaborative creative processes alters team dynamics, with research showing both positive effects, more democratic participation, and challenging shifts, decreased devil's advocate behaviors, that can impact creative outcomes. Bernstein et al. 2023. The evidence suggests organizations must carefully manage these individual and team effects to realize the full potential of AI-enhanced creativity while mitigating potential downsides. Evidence-based organizational responses. Prompt engineering for diversity. Recent research demonstrates that organizations can significantly enhance the diversity of AI-generated ideas through strategic prompting techniques. Zhang et al. 2023. found that specifically engineered prompts can increase the conceptual diversity of AI outputs by 35 to 50% compared to standard prompting approaches. The key techniques include constraint-based prompting approaches, establishing artificial constraints that force conceptual leaps, introducing random elements or divergent requirements, setting parameters that require exploration of non-obvious solution spaces, perspective-shifting techniques, instructing AI to consider multiple stakeholder viewpoints, sequentially implementing counterfactual thinking prompts, applying analogical reasoning across domains, staged ideation approaches, breaking ideation into discrete phases with specialized prompts, implementing converge-diverge cycles within the AI interaction, using intermediate human evaluation to redirect AI exploration. Microsoft's advertising team implemented specialized prompt templates that instructed their AI systems to generate ideas across predefined conceptual territories while also requiring radical departures from their existing campaign approaches. This methodology produced a 42% increase in the diversity of campaign concepts compared to their previous AI-assisted workflows, leading to successful campaign approaches they believe would not have emerged from their standard processes. Zhang et al. 2023. Complementary collaboration models. Research into effective human-AI creative collaboration reveals that organizations achieve optimal results when structuring interactions to leverage the complementary strengths of humans and AI. Tang et al. 2024 identify several effective collaboration structures: sequential complementarity approaches, AI-first ideation followed by human curation and development, human conceptual framing followed by AI expansion and variation, alternating generation phases with distinct objectives, parallel processing methodologies, simultaneous exploration by both human teams and AI systems, comparative evaluation of independently generated concepts, hybridization of separately developed approaches, integrated iterative models, real-time interaction between humans and AI during ideation, continuous refinement loops with shared evaluation criteria, progressive specialization of both human and AI contributions. IDEO. The global design consultancy restructured their ideation workflows to implement what they call parallel play between design teams and AI systems, rather than having AI directly assist human designers. They established a process where both human teams and AI systems independently generate solutions to the same brief. A facilitated integration session then identifies complementary strengths and synthesizes approaches. This method produced a 38% increase in the number of concepts that advanced to prototype stage compared to their traditional approaches. Bernstein et al. 2023. Capability building for AI-enhanced creativity. Organizations achieving the greatest benefits from AI-enhanced creativity invest significantly in building new capabilities among their creative workforce. These capability-building efforts focus on developing the specific skills needed to effectively collaborate with AI systems, technical capabilities development, training in effective prompt engineering and AI interaction, understanding model limitations and appropriate use cases, developing evaluation frameworks for AI-generated content, metacognitive skill enhancement, critical assessment of AI-generated ideas, recognizing complementary human creative strengths, developing intentional creativity processes that leverage AI, collaborative workflow adaptation, restructuring team processes around human-AI collaboration, creating feedback mechanisms for continuous improvement, developing protocols for attribution and ownership. Adobe established what they call creative AI dojos, intensive training programs where creative teams spend 3 days immersed in collaborative projects with AI tools. These programs focus not just on technical skills but on developing what Adobe terms creative judgment in relation to AI outputs. Teams that complete these programs report 57% higher satisfaction with AI collaboration and produce work rated 42% higher on originality metrics compared to teams with only technical AI training. Carlson et al. 2023. Building long-term creative capabilities, developing organizational AI creativity strategies. Organizations seeking sustained advantage from AI-enhanced creativity must move beyond tactical implementations toward comprehensive strategies that align technology, processes, and people. Research identifies several critical elements of effective organizational strategies, portfolio approaches to human-AI collaboration, mapping appropriate collaboration models to different creative contexts, establishing clear criteria for when and how to deploy AI in creative processes, developing metrics that balance efficiency and innovation, objectives, governance frameworks for creative AI, establishing quality standards and review processes for AI-enhanced work, creating transparent attribution. Policies for human-AI collaboration, developing ethical guidelines specific to creative applications, creative process redesign initiatives, reimagining stage-gate processes to incorporate AI collaboration, creating new review methodologies appropriate for human-AI work, establishing continuous learning systems to improve collaborative outcomes. Procter & Gamble's innovation teams developed a comprehensive, AI-enhanced innovation playbook that maps different AI collaboration approaches to specific innovation challenges. For incremental innovation, they employ AI primarily for rapid ideation and variation, while breakthrough innovation processes use AI as a thought expander, with specifically designed constraint-breaking prompts. This nuanced approach has contributed to a 23% increase in their innovation pipeline while maintaining their desired balance between incremental and disruptive concepts. Davenport and Ronanke. 2023. Fostering human creative distinctiveness as AI capabilities advance. Organizations must deliberately cultivate the uniquely human creative capabilities that complement AI strengths. Research highlights several domains where human creativity continues to demonstrate advantages over AI: cultivating domain-crossing creativity, developing cross-functional experiences that build analogical reasoning, creating exposure to diverse knowledge domains and perspectives, establishing processes that deliberately connect disparate fields, strengthening purpose-driven innovation, deepening understanding of human needs and cultural contexts, developing empathic design capabilities that inform creative direction, creating meaning-centered evaluation frameworks for creative work, building creative courage and risk tolerance, supporting psychological safety for creative exploration, developing processes that recognize and reward creative risk-taking, creating spaces for unreasonable ideas that AI systems may filter. Pixar Animation Studios established what they call improbable connections, workshops where creative teams are deliberately exposed to stimuli, experts, and experiences far outside their domain. These workshops specifically aim to develop the cross-domain thinking that current AI systems struggle to replicate. Projects that incorporate these workshops demonstrate 40% higher originality ratings from both critics and audiences compared to projects that rely more heavily on technological assistance in the ideation phase. Bernstein et al. 2023. Creating adaptive learning systems. The rapidly evolving capabilities of generative AI require organizations to establish systematic learning approaches that continuously improve human-AI creative collaboration. Structured experimentation frameworks, implementing A/B testing of different collaboration approaches, creating controlled trials of prompt engineering techniques, establishing metrics that capture both efficiency and innovation outcomes, knowledge management systems for AI creativity, documenting successful and unsuccessful collaboration patterns, creating accessible repositories of effective prompts and approaches, developing communities of practice around AI-enhanced creativity feedback loops for continuous improvement, implementing after-action reviews of AI-assisted creative projects, creating mechanisms to capture and analyze collaboration friction points, developing systematic processes to incorporate learning into future projects. IBM's design organization implemented a creative AI observatory that systematically documents and analyzes every significant human-AI creative collaboration across their global teams. This living knowledge base has evolved into an invaluable resource that allows teams to quickly identify the most effective collaboration approaches for specific creative challenges. Teams leveraging the observatory's insights demonstrate 35% higher success rates on creative projects compared to teams working without these synthesized learnings. Davenport and Ronanke. 2023. Conclusion: the evidence reveals that generative AI offers significant potential to enhance organizational creativity. But realizing this potential requires nuanced understanding and strategic implementation. While AI models demonstrate advantages in generating high volumes of creative content, organizations must implement specific strategies to ensure these outputs maintain sufficient diversity and originality. The most successful approaches leverage the complementary strengths of humans and AI rather than viewing AI as either a replacement for human creativity or merely a productivity tool. Organizations that develop comprehensive strategies, encompassing prompt engineering techniques, effective collaboration models, capability building initiatives, and adaptive learning systems, position themselves to gain substantial advantages in creative output and innovation outcomes. As AI capabilities continue to evolve rapidly, the organizations that will thrive are those that deliberately cultivate both technological sophistication and distinctly human creative capabilities in tandem. The future of organizational creativity lies not in human creativity or AI-generated content, but in the thoughtful integration of these complementary strengths within systems designed to maximize their collective potential.